Hello and welcome and happy new year. It's 2024. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. Hello, Lori. Hello, Marcia. So glad that you're here. And Doris and Cassie, welcome. Happy New Year. Oh, there's Sherry is here as well. Welcome, welcome. How are you? We are 5 days in the new year. Have you finished a quilt? Is it too soon? Have you finished a project already? What are your plans for 2024? That's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about our plans for specifically machine quilting. What goals do we have? Are there UFOs that we want to finish? Are there scrap quilts we want to make? Do we want to try a new technique? What are our plans for this year? Let us know in the chat one goal you have for this year that you would like to accomplish. By the way, Quilt Conversations Live is sponsored in part by Clover Needlecraft. They make sewing, quilting, and crafting supplies that we love. They help us to finish our projects with ease and with fun. And the featured product is something that I use and it sits right by my sewing machine. Have you seen this before? Have you seen this? Let me give you a closer look. It's for our bobbins. How do you store your bobbins? Let's take a look at this by Clover. Go to overhead camera. Here it is. This is a tower of bobbins. Two, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bobbins for each wheel, and it separates. So we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 bobbins that we can store on this bobbin tower. I love that it's color coded because I can decide, which I haven't yet, to store certain threads in the green and stack them together. I can then choose another thread that I use frequently and stack it all on this lime green or bright yellow. I'm not sure how you see it, but it's like a lime green, bright yellow. So easy to store multiple bobbins in this Clover bobbin tower. Let me know in the chat if you've seen this before. Have you tried it? What do you think? I use it. You can see I have several different colors of bobbins all wound and ready to go. All right, ladies. Hello, hello. Let's go back here. Loretta is here. Welcome. So glad that you're here. So Lori says she just saw some guests off from the holidays and she is looking forward to starting some new projects. Marsha is looking to do something new. Wonderful, wonderful. I have some new things that I want to dig deep into as well. I'll share a little bit of those a little bit later. The other thing that I wanted to share with you that when we were together last time, remember we reviewed the podcast, the people that I interviewed, the different quilters and makers, and one was Renee Florange Valdez. She's the art quilter. And I mentioned that she just released some new greeting cards. Well, guess who has some? Me, and they just arrived and I want to share them with you. You got a little peek of them when I was sharing the Clover bobbin tower. Let's take a look. So they came neatly wrapped with this nice ribbon bow, and of course I had to rewrap it so that you could see how it looked because I couldn't wait to look at the cards. And I ordered 2 of each. I love this piece of hers. It reminds me of me and my sisters. We're three girls. And so I love that one. I got two of these. Very nice. And this is another favorite. I love the quilting on this one. Hopefully you can see a little bit of the quilting on that. Let me go over here. Okay, there we go. I just love this piece. So two cards of that. They're blank inside. Then, she has a series of dancers. So I picked up four different card sets on dancers. This one, then another one where the dancer is airborne. See that? Let me go here. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then this one here, just love the body language. Such beautiful pieces. Beautiful, expressive pieces. So nice. So I picked up two of each. I think two or three. What did I get? Two of each. So go visit her website if you are interested in her cards. She has others. These are just the ones that I decided I wanted. You never know. One of you might get one of these cards in the mail. All right. Wanted to share those with you. Hello, Helen. So glad that you're here. Kimberly is here. Welcome, welcome. Yes, Marcia, they are cool. Isn't that nice? I love these cards. I can't wait to write in them and send them to my quilting friends. So, we are going to talk about machine quilting goals, plans for the year. Some of you already said that you want to try something new. Others who just arrived, maybe, oh, yes, Lori, the cards are beautiful. And hello, Denise from North Dakota. Yo, welcome, welcome, welcome here. Again, if you did not hear the question, what are your plans for 2024 for quilting, machine quilting? Do you have a specific goal? Are you still open? Are you still thinking about it? I want to ask your permission to share a couple of stories as it relates to goal setting and making plans. Do I have your permission to share a couple of my life stories and one that isn't my life but someone else's? Let me know. I think you might be encouraged by these stories. So before I get your permission, hey, Sherry, so glad that you're here. There are goals that are small goals and there are goals that are big goals. And I listened to this content creator who is a motivational speaker, and he shared this week, and it kind of spoke to me, and I thought I'd share it with you. He mentioned that a goal should be so big it should feel overwhelming. If the goal is achievable, it's really not a goal. It's really a small step. A goal should be something that seems unachievable. It's bigger than you. What do you think about that? I kind of molded over. And if you know me, you know I like to think about these things over and over again. So Sherry says, looking to quilt more than last year. Great. Maybe for myself. Good. Kimberly wants to practice quilting on 15 UFO flimsies, which is a quilt top for those who don't know. All right. Yes, you have great stories. Sure. Thank you, Lori. Thank you for that permission. So as I started to think about his definition, that goals should be bigger than us, bigger than who we are, and that anything that we believe is attainable is really a small goal or a step. It's something that we can do. Goals should be big. All right. So, with that in mind, these are the two stories. The first one has to do with this young boy who is a shepherd. He has 11 brothers, and they are jealous of him. Jealous, right? Because their father favors him. His father makes him a special coat to show how much he loves him. Maybe some of you know who I'm talking about. And this young boy has a dream. And in the dream, it says that he will be a big leader and that his father and his brothers will pay homage to him as this big leader. And he tells his brother, he tells his father, and they all say, really, you're just a kid. You just take care of sheep and you're a little boy. How are you going to be a big leader? And why should we bow down to you? So that's a big goal, right? Not necessarily his goal, but it was a dream given to him that he would be a big leader, so much so that his family will have to bow to him as the leader. All right. So that's a big goal, right? That would be considered the end goal. But then there are process goals. And this is what this coach was saying, this motivational coach was saying, that the smaller goals that are more attainable are process goals. And you and I, we call them steps. Steps. We take multiple steps to reach the bigger goal. Now, in Joseph's case, he had several steps to take, process steps, before he became the chancellor over Egypt. First, he was a kid when he first heard about this big goal, this big thing that was going to happen in his life. How do you go from being someone who takes care of sheep to being a ruler over a country? It doesn't happen without some steps in between, right? So he had to learn multiple things to get from point A to point B, the big, seemingly impossible goal. And so, as many of you may know, he was sold into slavery. Then he became the leader over a rich man's household. He was in charge over a home, not just as in the renovation of, it was everything. The leader's finances, his business, everything. He was the leader over that home, that family. He took care of all the running of the house and the finances. Then he goes from that to running a prison. He ended up going to prison. So that's a whole new set of skills, different people, a bigger place. So he's going from something small to something bigger. Then he ends up in the prison meeting two key people that knew the leader of the country, had interactions, and he became a servant to them. So he had interactions with people who knew how the system of government worked in this country. And as you know, many of you may know, he became then the chancellor of that country. So there was a process. There were steps in between. And of course, I'm going through this very fast, right? But I think you get the picture, right? Big, unattainable goal, right? Seemingly so. When we have a goal like machine quilting or to make a quilt, we look at something that looks so complicated. Maybe it's a quilt that is made with foundation paper piecing and you've never tried foundation paper piecing, right? Excuse me. I'm going to turn off my mic so I can cough. Yes, Marsha, you're right. It's Joseph in the Bible, right? So when I heard this big goal, end goal, and then the process goal, it made me think about him. I often use examples from the Bible as it relates to my own life, and I look for how God worked in that person's life. So, here is my personal example about setting a goal. One of the things that happened to me years ago, as many of you know, I was a photojournalist, right? A photographer for many years. That's a separate story, which we won't talk about today. But I want to talk about how I went from being a professional photographer to being a quilter that teaches nationally. I knew that there was a time for me to transition from being a photographer to a quilter. Now I'm going to go through this very quickly. And I was with a friend at a conference, and I said, I really believe that I'm being led for this big goal to teach at national quilt shows. Now, mind you, I had already started teaching, but only locally at my local guild. Who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm still a nobody, right? But I thought, yes, will you pray with me that these doors, these opportunities will open? And this was in 2016. 2016, yes. I asked that they would pray with me. Now, before that, I was already on a journey of learning of the process, the big goal, teach at national quilt shows. Hey, Happy New Year, Jacqueline. Welcome. And I started to teach at my local guild and guilds in my area. Then I taught at a quilt shop. Now, when I taught at this quilt shop, it was 30 minutes away from me. Often I had maybe one or two students. I did not make money, but what I did achieve were different skills that I needed to be able to teach at a national level. I had to learn how to put together a class, a supply list, how to communicate steps for a project. So I was committed to those process goals. I knew that all of this is going to help me reach that big goal of teaching nationally, right? Then I started to teach at regional retreats in my area. The next step was teaching at a as a educator for a machine company. But before that even happened, locally at my church, I became a leader over a ministry called Sowing Seeds. It was a ministry that helped women learn how to sew, make dresses for little girls in Haiti, make quilts for babies in Israel, make quilts and other things to go out to different places and for our own church members for baby dedications. So I was in charge of creating the pattern, getting the sewing machine, setting up the sewing space every month, putting together and cutting fabric, all of that. Again, I'm in training, right? So this all happened before that specific prayer because I knew I was leaving photography and I will become a full-time teacher. I believed that bigger goal that God had given me, right? So there are these process steps. Now, let me know if any of this is resonating with you. Can you think about some big goals in your life that seemed unachievable or difficult or challenging and took many, many years? It didn't happen overnight, right? So, as we think about planning out our machine quilting for 2024, we have a big goal, right? Big goal. But then we have smaller process goals. So if your goal is to make a foundation paper piece quilt, one of those really big ones, I think there's one company that's called Legit, and they make foundation paper piece, beautiful patterns of different kinds of things. And maybe you want to make one of those, but you don't know foundation paper piecing. So your process goal to achieve that bigger goal would be to learn foundation paper piecing and to practice that. Hopefully this is making sense. Let me know if this is making sense when it comes to having a really big goal and narrowing it down, right? Let me know. So, I have one other story, and it's about a process goal, because every little, I shouldn't say little, every goal, whether it's the big goal or the process goal, the things that are in between the start and the end, those also have perhaps steps. And I want to share with you a little bit later one of those. So as an educator and teacher, I've reached that goal, right? Helen says, yes, thank you for responding. I appreciate that. Of being a national educator. And the first time that I applied was in 2018. 19. Yes, December of 2018, to teach at QuiltCon in 2020. So they work or operate like every a year and a half, almost 2 years in between. So in order for me to teach, say, next year in 2025, the applications for that came out last fall, right? Hopefully that's making sense. So I was nervous. I thought, am I ready? Am I ready? Can I do it? Am I ready to teach at a national event? Now, as an educator for a machine company, I had been a helper in other classrooms. I watched others teach at national shows. I watched how they ran their class. Okay. Denise says, yes, the process. And when you have steps, they guide you so the big goal can be reached. Yes. Yes, it makes your dream attainable. Exactly. So that we don't get overwhelmed. And that's why I'm going through all of this to share it with you. Because if we don't work on those steps, those process goals for that bigger goal, we know what the bigger goal is. It's easy to get off track if we don't know what the bigger goal is. So often, if I am doing something, in my mind, I'm saying, is this process goal going to help me achieve the bigger goal? So if it's free motion quilting and you're taking a machine quilting class and you have a specific goal for machine quilting, by taking that class, is it going to help you achieve your goal? Yes, they keep us on track. I love it. Yes, Cheryl. Small successes help encourage us to keep going. Yes, I love it. Awesome, ladies. Thank you for sharing your thoughts on this process. It's so important, right? Now, I can just say, hey, here's this class, here's this free motion class, here's this ruler class, but not consider whether or not it is something that's usable for you to reach your goals. So we've been together for a couple of years now, right? Every month we're talking about different topics, and I listen and I create goals to respond to what you specifically want from me as a teacher. And I put together those classes. They take time because there is the idea of what you ladies want, the big goal, and then the process of me putting it together. Thank you, Denise, right? So I've been working very hard on your behalf and mine because I'm learning as an educator and teacher how to provide resources for you ladies to achieve your goals in machine quilting. Now, I would love for them to come out sooner, but sometimes sooner is not necessarily better, right? Because there are things that I need to learn and prepare for, and it takes me time to learn those things. And on the other hand, it may not be the right time for you, right? So, with that said, the first thing I want to share with you is the alphabet design course. That's one of the first courses that I released on my website, and many of you ladies are taking this course. Let me know in the chat by writing ABC in capital letters if you are taking the alphabet design course. This is a free motion quilting course to help you get rid of the fear of free motion quilting and to use things you already know, the alphabet, to help you move forward quickly. But remember the process, right? Those process goals mean that we have to do the work. So I can't get to that big goal if I'm not willing to do the small process goals. And for the alphabet course, if you're taking it, one, you're watching the videos. That's one process, watching them, right? Two is stitching out and practicing the different techniques. And then three, submitting examples to me so that I can see them and discuss them with you, so that I can actually help you and coach you through the process. So to help with that, I have just uploaded 10 new videos in the course. 10. This is one and some others. And I have detailed instructions about the process of practicing, the process of creating a design. Yes, it is on my website. All you have to do is go to machinequilting.live and it will bring you directly to my website. Oh, fantastic, Cheryl. Congratulations on your new machine. When you take the course, as many of you ladies know, you get some pattern sheets and stitching path sheets. If you haven't gone through the stitching path sheets, please, if free motion quilting is on your list, your goal for the year, or as part of your process to finish those UFOs, do the steps to practice. And I talk about and go through each one of these designs in the course, right? This is the alphabet design free motion quilting course. All right. Yes. Kimberly is getting ready. Awesome. For tomorrow is a snow day. Fantastic. So check those out. If you haven't, I know some of you ladies are in the course, even though you didn't make a comment. I know Lori's in the course, Kimberly's in the course, Sherry's in the course. Yep. Many of you ladies, take the time, check out those new videos, new ones. I completely went through the course to give it a fresh update, okay? So that was one of my goals as an educator and teacher, was to go through that course and refresh it for you so that you can reach your goal. So our goals are working together, all right? And those of you who have not taken the course, go to the website. All you have to do is go to machinequilting.live. It will bring you straight to my website. Click on education, but also look at the spotlight, student spotlight, where you'll see some students who have had success by taking the course. All right, so what's another goal that I reached? Finally, this has been on my website forever. It was always an upcoming course, and I committed to getting it live this month, and it is live now. It is Ruler Quilt a Star. Many of you are beginning ruler quilters who want more confidence with ruler quilting. We always can't get to a quilt show, right? I love to be able to give you the resources to take this course whenever you need it. You learn multiple straight line designs. There are amazing, if I do say so myself, videos about rulers. We've gone through this. We've talked about the difference between straight edge rulers, right? But now it's time to put it into practice, right? Put it into practice. When you take the course, not only are there videos, there are diagrams. So you get diagrams, you get video tutorials, and you also get a pattern for the star quilt in 3 different sizes. Okay? Small, medium, and large. Okay? This is an opportunity to practice ruler quilting with specific guidance on ruler quilting techniques. Okay, ladies? So you can see that I have already jumped into this year to work on very specific process goals as it relates to myself as an educator. Right? All right, let's see what's in the comments. Any questions? That's a good idea, Cheryl. Fantastic way to practice. Yes, these can be done with a long arm. Many of my classes are fantastic for both a home machine and a long arm. Okay? Yes, it does. It is a goal to do real soon. As we make quilts, there are all types of skills we want to improve on. And free motion quilting, I think, for many ladies, is at the top of the list. And so is ruler quilting, right? So that we can work with those together. So the next thing that I want to share with you is another course release. I released 2 courses this week. One is the ruler quilting a star, right? And then another ruler quilting course. How many of you remember the Bernina Ruler Quilting Challenge, the Essential Challenge? Well, now I have a curve ruler quilting challenge. And the curve ruler quilting challenge is 4 courses eventually. I'm going to release 1 per month. So the first one was released this month, and it's with the squiggle ruler. And this is an example of what you can quilt with the squiggle ruler. It's a challenge because each month we're going to work with one ruler, stitch 3 different designs, and learn ruler quilting techniques. Hey, Rochelle, so glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome. Now, if you are unfamiliar with the squiggle ruler, it's from this Curves and Clams ruler kit from Bernina. And yes, this works for both a home machine and a long arm. Some of the video tutorials are on my home machine, Burnett 79, and some of the tutorials are on the sit-down long arm. The techniques are the same. I talk about everything about each of the rulers. I show you some design techniques. You will have a blast. Here's an example of some of those videos. So 3 different designs with one ruler. The challenge will have 4 different rulers and 1 new course every month. This month, it's the squiggle ruler. So I go over everything about the ruler. So it's no longer a mystery. Many ladies already have this set. If you don't have this set, you can use something similar. So Helen says she has a traditional Singer sewing machine. Will that work? It can work if, 1, you can do free motion quilting on it, and 2, if you can get a ruler foot. So you'll have to find out if you can get a ruler foot and if you can do free motion quilting. If the answer is yes to both, then yes, you can take this course. I show you, as you can see, on the home machine, a Burnett 79, how to stitch each of the designs. Okay? Now, I bet you're wondering, let me go back here. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Helen. So I've already started to put things right on my website to help you reach your goals. There's free motion quilting updates for those of you who are in the alphabet course. There's a ruler quilting basic course, the ruler quilter star to get you started with a straight edge. And then there's the next class, which is the curve ruler quilting challenge. Is a ruler foot the same as an open foot or darning foot? It is not. It is not. And that is one of the things that happens in the course. I go over in the introduction of most of the courses, before we even get to learning the techniques, I give you supporting tutorials and videos. What is a ruler foot? What tools are required and why you need them? You can, on my YouTube channel, search previous Quilt Conversations Live, and I talk about the ruler foot, okay? Go and look at some of those videos, and you can learn what a ruler foot is. And you must use a ruler foot with an acrylic ruler. Oh, how nice, a star quilt. That was very nice. Oh, you're welcome, Cheryl. You're welcome. All right, so ladies, hopefully some of these are going to help you get started with your specific quilting goals. Okay, if your goal is, as a student of the alphabet design course, to start stitching, I've given you some more incentive. Go and check out the new videos, okay? Even just watch them, even if you're not ready to actually stitch, okay? It's good to just watch the videos, right? To get yourself motivated and ready to start stitching. All right. So I promised you another story. This is a personal story when I was a photographer. How many of you ladies want to hear this story? It involves birds and fish. Yes, birds and fish. Can you imagine birds and fish? Let me know. It's a process goal. There was a big goal, but then there was a process goal that I had to achieve as a photographer, and it's about birds and fish. So Cheryl raises her hand and says, "Yes, I want to hear it." All right, anyone else? It's really a neat story. I don't know if I've told it here before or not. Um, and if you want me to share more story, oh no, Kimberly says she's scared to death of birds. So Jacqueline says yes. Okay, so here's the story. As a journalist, many of you know I was a Los Angeles Times photographer. And I lived in Southern California for 11 years. And one of the stories I found, I'm an East Coast girl, East Coast. When I moved to Southern California and I looked at the maps and it said lake, I thought it meant it was a lake or a river. These were dry beds where runoff water would run for the most part. But there are also man-made lakes. And this man-made lake was specifically for those who love to fish. So they would stock this man-made lake with fish. So fishermen could go and enjoy fishing. But guess who else found out that there was a buffet of free fish? Guess who found out? Some birds. And they were birds that were protected. They were an endangered species, so they were protected. So, what's a bird to do, right? You see a lake, it's always being stocked with fresh fish. You build your condo in the surrounding trees. You build a nest, you take care of your family, and you're set for life. You don't have to worry about feeding because you know, like clockwork, they're going to put some fresh fish inside the lake. So, of course, the people who owned the lake didn't like that idea, right? So, I heard about this being a problem. And so I proposed it to the editors. Hey, we should do this story about this company that has men get in a boat with a noise maker of some kind to scare the birds away from eating their fish because that's their livelihood. They can't kill the fish, right? But they can scare them. But there were many, many, many birds, nests everywhere. So I'm taking photos because I'm a photographer for the story. And I'm taking pictures of the fishermen. I'm taking pictures of the birds in the nest, etc., etc. But then my editor says, right? Now, the big goal is to tell the story of these birds stealing fish. Now, they didn't think they were stealing anything, right? They said, lake, fish, I want to eat, I want to feed my family. But the business owners looked at the birds as thieves, and I had to show a photo of a bird stealing or eating a fish from the lake. Does that seem impossible when the lake is big and it can take 20 minutes to walk around the lake? The center of the lake is so far, even with my big long lens, the bird was about yay big, right? How am I going to get a photo of a bird eating a fish from the lake? So I started to think about how to time when I should be there. So part of our research for machine quilting, if using the same idea of wanting to learn how to foundation paper piece because we want to make this big quilt that's foundation paper pieced rather. What tools do I need? What are the best types of tools for foundation paper piecing? What kind of rotary cutter do I need? What kind of glue stick should I use? What am I going to do to help me get that 1/4 inch when I'm cutting for foundation paper piecing? So the same thing with this. How can I get to the lake at the right time in the right place to catch that fish stealing and eating, catch the bird rather, catching a fish, stealing it, eating it, etc. So I thought, okay, feeding time. When mom and dad are going in the lake, going in and getting the fish. Now, mind you, this specific bird not only could fly, it can swim. That's right. So that meant that the bird could go into the lake, swim, and come out way over here, another location. How do I track that, right? So I have to make sure I'm in the right place at the right time for the bird to go down, get the fish, come out where I can catch the shot, right? So I find that there's this peninsula, this little piece of land that's going into the lake that I can position myself in with my big wildlife lens on a tripod. And I've been trying for like 2 weeks, off and on, going in the morning, going in the afternoon, breakfast, lunch, dinner time for birds. And I'm not getting the shot. And my editor is saying, hey, we need to get that shot. And so I go out another day and I'm there. And you ladies know I'm a woman of faith. So I was like, wait a minute. You didn't pray. You didn't ask for help. What I do is never on my own. That is my belief, that I always have help. And sometimes I need to ask. Not just sometimes, all the time, really, right? So I just quickly said, oh, forgive me. I didn't ask for help. So I prayed. I said, I have to get this shot. My editor is asking, God, please help me. So within minutes, right in front of me, a bird comes down, swoops in, gets a fish, and it's holding the fish in its beak and it's skirting right across the water right in front of me. I was like, oh, I was so excited, but so nervous that the camera shook. It was shaking, and I thought, oh no, it's not going to be in focus because I was shaking. So what did I do? I said, God, please, can you do it again? And he did. Another bird came into the water, got a fish, and not only that, it stayed in front of my lens for like 5 minutes because it was wrestling with the fish. Then it decided, just for you, Geraldine, because God said so, I'm going to spread my wings, hold my head up, and let the fish come down into my mouth so that you can get the shot. So that's the photo that was on the cover of the Metro section at the LA Times. A bird with its wings spread wide and its mouth open and a fish going right down its mouth. Right? I know, it's amazing, right? And protect me from the birds. Yes. And when it hit the paper the next day, I got phone call after phone call after phone call from other photographers saying, "Hey, I saw your shot in the paper. How did you get that?" Because they knew how difficult it was. How difficult it was to be in that spot to get a bird that flies and swims, and then for the arms to be wide open, the wings to be wide open and catch that shot. Yes, amazing. It is amazing. I remember that. I remember that story often when I think about different things that I have wanted to achieve, goals that I've had, whether they've been big end goals, even becoming a national educator. Remember, I said that a friend and I prayed together. We were at a conference. I told her what I believed God was leading me to do was to leave photography and become a quilting teacher. And we prayed together that that would happen. I was doing it on a small level for several years, started back in 2015, but could I do it full time? Because I don't like birds or fish. You want to see the picture now, right? God is good. Yes. Yes, He is. He is. So often, ladies, even the courses that you see on my website, and you see my website and this live, Quilt Conversation Live, this is all because these were big goals, big, but many, many, many small process steps that I committed to learning, but I also asked for help. There were many times when I said, I can't do this. It is too hard. I wanted to give up. So I hope these stories are helping you to see that whatever goal you have for this year, whether it's machine quilting, relationships, work related, any goal that you have that seems impossible, it is impossible for me, for us, I believe strongly by ourselves. But nothing is impossible with God, right? If you're a believer and you believe in God, we know that He does hear and listen, right? So I hope that you are encouraged to pursue the big goals and work on them step by step. The next thing I want to share with you, coming down to the last part of our time together, is the Beautiful Sister. Remember the Beautiful Sister quilt? That was also part of another set of personal goals. I won't go into detail about them, but I know many of you, like Kimberly, has taken a workshop with me, and others have seen the Beautiful Sister at QuiltCon, and I said I was going to put together a course, and that has been a goal, right? It's part of a bigger goal. This course has constantly been pushed and pushed and pushed because of other things. And it was supposed to be ready in December and November, but didn't happen, right? And we know that there are things that are going to sideline our goals, but it doesn't mean we give up. We can take a pause and come back to it. So if you have goals that are being sidelined, that's okay. You can always go back to it. So for those of you who are waiting, I want you to know it is going to happen. And I had planned to work on it in December, but then I got an invitation. And sometimes those invitations are good things because it allows us to rethink how we're going to achieve specific process goals, like creating the Beautiful Sister course, right? So one thing that I want to share with you is that as a result of this invitation, which I'll share in a moment, I decided to add this to the Beautiful Sister course, is how I make my quilt labels. And there's one way that I make them, but there are multiple ways we can make them, right? And so I'm going to share how I print on muslin fabric with my home printer. It is a great time to spend with quilting friends. I agree. So the course now is going to have how to make a quilt label on muslin by using your own home printer, which I didn't think I was going to do. Wasn't even a consideration until I got this invitation, right? The second thing that happened as a result of this invitation is that I had to work on finishing a quilt in a very short amount of time. And it reawakened my Studio B. And Kimberly mentioned that she saw them on YouTube. And if you don't know what Studio B is, this is a picture of my other studio that I set up so that I can do live quilting demos as I work on a real project. That is something that I wanted to do last year. I only got a chance to do it a couple of times. And my goal is to do it at least once a week. Hopefully that will happen. Hey, bro, so glad that you're here. Happy New Year. Awesome, awesome. So that's another goal. And this was because of this invitation, right? So this now will be part of the Beautiful Sister course. I will talk about whole cloth quilting as it relates to quilting backgrounds and faces, etc., etc. Okay? So the Beautiful Sister course is going to be more than making the Beautiful Sister quilt, if that makes sense. Is there a schedule? Be more specific. I'm not sure what you mean. I'm working toward finishing the course. When it will be released, I don't know. I'm hoping by sometime in February. That's my goal. February is now my goal because, anyway, that's the goal. Now, what else? As a result of pushing back the course and working on this project, because I was invited to participate in exhibit, a special exhibit, another part in the course is going to be how I made the facing at the same time making the hanging sleeve for this project, for this quilt. Oh, Studio B schedule. I would like to do it on Wednesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. That's my thought in terms of my existing schedule. All right. Thank you for hanging in there with me, ladies. One more thing. So now I've added 3 different areas to the Beautiful Sister course that weren't there before. 1, whole cloth quilting. 2, quilt labels. And then 3, how to do facing for very specific types of quilts. And this is, where is it? Okay, let me share this one with you. This is the quilt that will hang. This is the project that I finished that was the catalyst for those additional parts of the course. This will hang at Road to California. Road to California, there's a special exhibit for 20th century Black quilters that I was invited to participate, and they liked the Beautiful Sister quilt. So this quilt and the Beautiful Sister quilt will hang at Road to California in this special exhibit for 21st century Black quilters. Yes, I think that's what it's called. So I will share more details of that exhibit the next time we meet. Hopefully, it's coming up. It's January 17th, I think, to the 20th, something like that. Oh, thank you, Rochelle. And if you're interested in how this was quilted, go to Studio B on my YouTube channel. I went live several times while I was stitching this out. There are words that are stitched in it. I talked about how I practice stitching out the words, very specific techniques. I talked about the background. I didn't talk much about the rays and how I accomplished that, but maybe I will do that in a separate live section. I talked about how I quilted the hair and the neck. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kimberly. Thank you, Rose. And thank you, Gigi. Thank you. All right. So those are some of my immediate goals, is to get the Beautiful Sister course completed. And another goal that has happened that was part of the really big goal, remember? To teach at national quilt shows. For the very first time, I'm teaching at Paducah in April. I will teach at Paducah several ruler quilting classes. The Power Lines class. I'm also going to teach going in circles, quilting with an acrylic ruler that's a circle. I'm going to teach clamshell ruler quilting. This is all at Paducah, my first time. Remember that big goal back in 2016? It is now 2024. Do the math. Think about all the time, all the process goals, and processes I had to learn to reach that goal. How to create a course, how to teach a course, how to manage a big class, etc., etc. And I'm going to teach a free motion quilting class, spirals and swirls, and how to go from practice to a real quilt. So that is one of my goals, immediate goals. Yes, big goals. Do more in 2024. Yes. Hey, there goes my sister. So, ladies, my sister Cookie, she's on Facebook. And as you know, who is the beautiful sister? I don't know how long you've been watching, sis. I'm going to go back so that you can see this. I don't know if you saw it or not, but there you are. There you are. Your face is going to be at the road to California. That's my big sister. Yes. You are welcome, Lisa. You are welcome. So, big. Who said that? Rose. Yes, big goals. Set a big goal. Then think about all the smaller process goals to reach that big goal. The big goal could be 5 years from now, 10 years from now. There's one thing that my mother said that I will always remember. She said, time will pass. Time will pass. Even if you think that you can't reach a goal because it's too big, you will not do it because of fear, and time will pass. And all that time that's passing of not doing the smaller goals to reach the big goal could have been done to reach the big goal. That's what she was saying. Don't waste time. Time will pass, and you don't want to look back and think, I would have, should have, could have. So if it's machine quilting, if it's foundation paper piecing, if it's relationships or anything, ladies, I want you to achieve your goals. Think big. Aw, yeah. All right, ladies, this is it. Let me know if you have any questions. Remember, you can always send a message. You can comment on YouTube. I always read those comments and respond. If you are a subscriber, thank you. If not, subscribe to the channel and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up so that the YouTube algorithm can share it with others. And don't keep it a secret. Let your other quilty friends know if you get something out of these sessions so that they can also benefit. And remember that this live was sponsored in part by Clover. Clover Needlecraft. They make fantastic tools like this bobbin holder for our sewing, quilting, and crafting. Yes, you are welcome. It was powerful advice. Yes. Yes. I agree. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Did I forget anything? Is that it? All right. So I can't wait to get assignments from those of you that are in the alphabet course. Kimberly, Lori, all right, and others. I'll see you next time for another Quilt Conversations Live. Thank you for being with me today. I'll see you in a couple of weeks.